We'll just film the wall. It'll be all good.
Let's make it interesting.
Ah, there you go. Here, let's.
That's cool. Oh.
There you go. Nice. The filter interview with the wristband. The spokesperson of the band. Nice. Let's talk a little bit about the Saliva tour. Just getting underway with you guys. How's that going so far?
We're having a blast. They're old friends of mine and new friends for the rest of my band, and we have a great time. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. They're great guys to hang out with, and a great rock band as well. So it's cool.
Now, is there any particular city you're looking forward to going out and playing on this tour?
I mean, you know, after a while they all start to blend, but I love playing hometown shows and get to see your kids and kind of stroll through and then go, I'll see you in a week, you know, or whatever, see you in a month or whatever. But yeah, I look forward to playing the West Coast because we might have Mitch Marlowe come out on stage for a couple songs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. See, the coast always gets all the good surprises, and
yeah,
kind of Midwest kind of loses out every once in a while.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
But a lot of people live out here. Like in Chicago, Brian Lee's gang comes out, and you know, Gino and all those guys come out. So
nice.
Yeah, it's cool.
Nice. Now, with you guys kind of co-headlining with Saliva, are you guys doing a full set tonight, or do you have to scale back at all?
We do 70 minutes each. And we just kind of, we tailor back a few songs, but we put the best from the show, the best stuff that reacts well with the audience in it the whole time. So we change out a few songs every other night, and you know, every night we change out a few songs and move things around so it's different for everybody across the country. But you know, yeah.
Everyone's definitely going to get a good show.
Oh yeah, everybody. You know, everybody that we've been on. You know, we've really like mastered kind of figuring out what the crowd needs. You know, every night, and it's become a joy to kind of like mesh every night with. And, you know, it's weird. You know, we were just in Moscow like last month, and you know, those guys are learning the lyrics phonetically. Russians don't know how to speak English. And they're still singing Hey Man, Nice Shot and all the other stuff. They learn it phonetically. So when, you know what I mean? It's all one big borderless, you know, it's just people. It's just Filter fans, you know what I mean? It's Saliva fans. So you can put us anywhere in the world and it feels like just one big endless rock concert. So it's always awesome. I've noticed the Americans are pretty relaxed. They're like, yeah, but the Russians were insane. So.
Get pretty intense at those shows over there.
They're just so appreciative, you know, because we've never been. So, you know, but Europe in general, it's different. The Americans are kind of like, yeah, you gotta. It depends. I mean, like last night. Like it took a couple songs for them to kind of lose themselves a little bit, and then they're finally there. So it's awesome.
Now, do you see any particular song getting more of a crowd reaction in your set list than any of the others?
I mean, there's always the new stuff is kind of like getting a great response. There's always a reaction because I jump out into the audience every once in a while, or I'll grab a camera, and so there's always a different, you know, reaction when I do crazy, you know, things during songs. Yeah. You know, it's usually like in Best Things, I'm like, I want a free ride, and I'll jump in the audience because the song's about not getting a free ride and not getting anything handed to you. And so I'll get a free ride around the audience, you know, and they'll just pass me to one another.
Nice.
And people's faces are just like, what the fuck is he doing? And I'm like, it's you. that's the one thing that we've, you know, made sure of, like the audience knows, is it's all about them. You know, we get it. You know, it's all about the audience, and you know, I think they understand that we're like, our hands are, it's you know, I'm in your hands. You know,
give me back to the stage, say it.
Yeah.
Don't want to be missing any limbs.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, is this the first time you guys have been here in Wichita?
Jeez, is that what we are?
Wichita, Kansas.
I'm in a coffin, like, sealed case in the bus, so it's Wichita, Kansas. Yeah, we've been here. We've been here. Yeah. I mean, you know, this band's been around for 15 years, so even when we weren't here, I'm sure we were at some point
Nice.
driving through it. Who knows? But, yeah. I don't know if I've been to this particular venue, but
nice. We're definitely excited to see you guys live tonight. This is our first experiencing Filter live, so I'm pretty psyched about it.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm very happy about
a handful of bands. I've been doing this 23 years now, and you're one of a handful of bands that I've never seen live.
Wow.
And so tonight's taking
cool. I'm glad you came out.
A new eye-opening experience for me, so I'm pretty excited about it. And,
that's awesome.
You know, just from being a fan first, you know, I'm excited to see you guys perform live, because listening to the disc is different than your live performance. And being in the business as long as I have, I judge a band on their live performance.
Right.
And if they can pull it off live, they've got me forever.
Cool.
You know, and stuff I've read about you guys put on one hell of a show. And,
well, that's good.
You know, I'm excited to see it tonight.
Yeah, so. It's taken us a while to kind of hone into what exactly we are. And off the record, it's kind of like a heavy U2 concert. It's like a really heavy U2 concert, because, you know, I want to entertain. It's amazing. Back on the record, it's amazing that you know, for me to kind of get it, and you know, it just started happening like right around when I realized, like, we don't want to bring a light show, and it's like, well, what do you do then? If it's a naked light bulb, what do you do? You know what I mean? And it's like, I feel like you gotta communicate. You gotta, in between songs, you gotta say what you're there to say, but also include. And
so it's overall just a good entertainment experience for anybody that comes to see you guys live.
Yeah, we're
and without having the huge light show, you know, you let your music speak for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to, you know, I mean, you know, all that stuff is great, but at the same time, it's like you said, it's like, you know, it's like doing acoustic shows. It's like you have to kind of take your clothes off to do an acoustic show. You have to kind of, you know, scale back and you know, think of the songs as songs that were written to get a certain reaction. But acoustic doesn't mean playing acoustics really hard. It means playing them extremely lightly, to me. And we're doing a whole new version of our acoustic stuff, just because it's like, the more quiet and the more like intimate it is, the more interesting it is. And we did Hey Man, They Shot in like somewhere in, it was near Michigan. I think it was outside of Michigan. I think it was there was an acoustic performance of Hey Man, They Shot where it's like, hey, that's about as loud as I got.
Wow. And
everyone's playing like super close, and the mics are picking up everything in the room, and it was just like this amazing, like. So.
Nice.
Anyways. Yeah, but it's about entertainment. I mean, we kind of realized that everybody knows the war is going on. No one wants to think about it. You know, we learned that with our last record. We wrote a record for our friend that got killed, and and I was shocked that the whole world doesn't want to talk about it. Movies don't do well. Iraqi war movies don't do well. The Green Zone took 2 years for that to come out. No one wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, Matt Damon wanted to talk about it. I want to talk about it. But no one wants to fucking talk about it. It's like the soldiers are like, hey, you know, the Marines are at war. America's at the mall. The Army's at war. The Americans are at the mall. You know what I mean? And it's kind of sad because it's... They were like, did you have any trouble, like, catching people? I was like, people don't want to talk about politics. People want to talk about... You know, they actually found my craziness more entertaining than my personal... You know... There's the entertainment factor. Can we shut that door? Can we shut that door? Can you shut that door? There's the entertainment thing, and then there's like the message thing. And like when people come up to me and actually say like, hey, you know, your music's really helped me through this and helped me through that, that's like a bonus. So I started just kind of diving back into myself, and I think that's why people like this new record, The Trouble with Angels, a lot, because it's like this is the old school filter that was established, the sound that was established in the 90s with a modern, you know, tinge, but at the same time I'm focusing on a lot of the crazy stuff that I did when I was in the using phase of my life, the drug using phase of my life, and looking at it like with those eyes, with those 25-year-old, you know, eyes, you know, because who when they're 25 knows what's going to happen and is addicted to drugs and is experiencing life outside of, you know, the house into and
I overdosed and died.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was flatlined for 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Shit.
And had an out-of-body experience. I had one shot of adrenaline brought me back.
All right.
And yeah, I overdosed on a shot of heroin, meth, and coke.
Wow, was that the bottom?
It was. I collapsed this vein on it, and yeah, I've been clean and sober ever since. I didn't go to rehab. I rehabbed myself.
Yeah. Are you an angry guy?
And no, because I have a temper, but a little bit. I mean, everybody's got a little bit of a temper, but
yeah, I actually,
you know, I don't.
I actually found myself just like going to medical science and going like, what made me? And they found out that I was extremely ADHD, and so I was to calm down. Yeah, and to calm down and to concentrate. They give me what I used to take in a very perfect amount to because I was medicating. I found myself like, you know, I had all the choices in the world handed to me, and I kept going to these two, and it was like, if I want to concentrate, I use this one. If I want to get rid of anxiety, I use this one. Well, the problem was the anxiety one was booze, and of course you got that 30 minutes of golden hour, but being an addict, you've got that 12 hours of fucking, you know, being a drunken asshole to being hungover the next day, and the 8 hours of being, so it's like 24 hours of shit for, you know, 30 minutes of being, you know, great, you know what I mean? And it sucks. So, but that was after 7 years or 8 years of completely just hitting, you know, a recovery program, and then, but finally medical science was the thing that got me, you know, psychiatric care, you know, the full on. So.
Yeah, okay, we're done, guys. Okay, cool.
Sorry about that.
Cool. Hey.